shot him in his tracks. About the only thing agreed upon is he ain't coming back. There won't be any trial, so the air won't be cleared. There's those two sides calling names out of anger, out of fear. If you say it wasn't racial when they shot him in his tracks, well, I guess that means that you ain't black. It means that you ain't black. I mean, Barack Obama won. You can choose where to eat. You don't see too many white kids lying bleeding on the street. In some town in Missouri, but it could be anywhere. It could be right here on Ruth Street. In fact, it's happened here. And it happened where you're sitting, wherever that might be. And it happened last weekend. It'll happen again next week. And when they turned him over, they were surprised there was no gun. I mean, he must have done something, or else why would he have run? So they spin it for the anchors on the television screen, so they can wag their fingers without asking what it means, what it means. What it means. So I guess there was protesting and some looting in some stores, and someone was reminded they ain't called colored folks no more. I mean, we try to be politically correct when we call names, but what's the point of post-racial when old prejudices remain? And that guy who killed that kid down in Florida standing ground is free to beat up on his girlfriend and wave a brand new gun around, while some kid is dead and buried and laying in the ground with a pocket full of skulls. What it means. Woo! What it means. Astrophysics at our fingertips, we're standing at the summit. And some man with a joystick lands a rocket on a comet. We're living in an age where limitations aren't forgotten. The outer edges move and dazzle us, but the core is something rotten. 'Cause we're standing at the precipice of prejudice and fear. We trust science just as long as it tells us what we want to hear. We want our truths all fair and balanced, long as our notions lie within it. There's no sunlight in our asses and our heads are stuck up in it. And our heroes may be rapists who watch us while we dream. But don't look for me for answers, 'cause I don't know what it means. I wrote that song about 4 years ago, sitting at my kitchen table in Athens, Georgia. Beautiful Athens, Georgia. Pondering the horrific news events of the day, with protests breaking out in places like Ferguson, Missouri, and Cleveland, Ohio, and Staten Island, New York. And I'm thinking about my childhood growing up in North Alabama back in the era of George Wallace. I'm thinking, have we not fucking learned anything? And here we are 4 years later. Just a few weeks ago, that man in Chicago who thwarted a shooting in a bar and then was shot himself. And that man in Hoover, Alabama, just a few miles from where Cooley lives, at the Galleria Mall, who also was assisting after a shooting and was shot 3 times in the back. What the fuck is wrong with us? And I wrote this song asking a bunch of questions, and we recorded it and we put it on our album, American Band. But nonetheless, I kind of felt like a cop-out because it doesn't offer any answers. And then I had the honor and the privilege of going with my wife to see the Patti Smith Group play at the Arlene Schnitzer Auditorium in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon, where I live now with my family. And it was the 40th anniversary tour for her masterpiece, Horses, and they played it in its entirety. It was Lenny Kaye's 69th birthday, and it was cathartic punk rock, the kind that saved my life as a teenager and continues to all these years later. And I was standing there with chills running up and down my spine. But the most powerful moment of the show occurred towards the end when Patti Smith, standing there about 4'11" with her long silver hair, looking so beautiful, and she just raised her arms up in the air and she stopped the band and she said, "Love each other, motherfuckers." And it occurred to me that that's the answer. I'm Patterson Hood. It's been an honor and a privilege to get to play for you tonight. Thank you so much for coming out. I hope everybody has a safe and wonderful holidays. And when you're sitting there at Christmas dinner with that uncle you love so much who says terrible things, don't take no shit off of him, but don't forget the mighty words of Patti Smith, and love each other, motherfuckers! What it means